Right, starting recording. Here we go. Come on now. All right. Let's see. Hold the phone. And there it is. Hello everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of What's in the Box Score.
Are we up to 5 already?
I think we're up to 5 already.
All right, that works.
If you're listening to this as soon as it drops, which I recommend, it's pretty great. This is on Saturday. This is a day later than we normally put it out because last week's podcast is going out on Friday, which you better have already listened to. There's a lot of continuity with these podcasts. You have to listen to them in order.
Yeah, you'll be very confused if you jump in at like episode 7, because we're probably going to still be talking about something from episode 1.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much continuity that it's not like The Simpsons where you can just watch any given week. It's more like The West Wing. You really gotta know the lore to be able to understand. Those are the two most topical TV references I have are The Simpsons and The West Wing.
I've never seen The West Wing, so you lost me there.
Great show. I love The West Wing. But we've actually got a decent amount of things to talk about, which is shocking.
As we are a month into the lockout with nothing going on.
Officially a month in.
So disgusting.
The slowest month of all time, if you ask me.
I figured out how we can solve this. This just popped in my head. Tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
Because not only will this end the lockout and solve all the issues, you can have fans in attendance so you can get some revenue in, that you lost. I say we have a Thunderdome at the Field of Dreams. Tony Clark versus Rob Manfred. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Whoever walks out of that thing holding the other one's head up, their side wins.
Absolute death match between Manfred
and Thunderdome. Like hell, if you can get Tina Turner to reprise her role, let's go. I'm all for it. Hell, I'll buy a ticket and I'll fly out there. Let's do it. I'm ready.
There would be a What's in the Box Score live episode.
Oh, yeah. It'd be shaky as hell, so I'd be holding my phone up while I'm laughing, going, kill him!
And we both know Tony Clark is ripping him to shreds.
Oh, yeah. Tony Clark's going to just toy with him for a while.
I mean, Tony Clark's a former professional athlete. Rob Manfred's a nerd from Rome, New York.
He's also like 7 feet tall compared to Rob Manfred, who's probably shorter than me, and I'm 5'6".
He's a very small man. That would be a very quick fight.
But I'm saying, end the lockout that way. Like, if you can't, set a date and be like, hey, if we don't have an agreement by X date, you two fight it out.
I will say, I don't think the Field of Dreams is a big enough stadium. I say you do this in, the Superdome.
Superdome works.
I'm telling you right now, they sell 100,000 tickets to this thing, sold out in minutes.
Well, no, at that point, if we're talking big stadiums, we have to go college, right? Oh, so you're talking Beaver Stadium, you're talking Michigan, or you're talking Ohio State, one of those 3.
Yeah, have it at the Big House. That would be fun.
Either the Big House or Beaver Stadium, because fuck the horseshoe.
I would like to see that at the Big House. But yeah, I think that would sell out instantly. And you know who would be these are my transition skills. This is just you know who would be the top reporter for that event?
Ken Rosenthal.
Ken Rosenthal.
He'd be in the cage, in the dome with the bow tie, as blood is splattering behind him.
And he would hand Tony Clark a gun.
Oh, yeah. Ken Rosenthal would be grabbing weapons off the cage and handing them to Tony.
This is, in case you didn't hear about this somehow, it's been the biggest baseball story on Twitter in weeks. Ken Rosenthal, who writes for The Athletic, he's a sideline reporter for Fox Sports, and he was a personality insider for MLB Network. He still works for The Athletic, still works for Fox, but he was fired from his role at MLB Network for previous criticism of Rob Manfred. And you might say, oh, well, why would the network fire him over that? Major League Baseball Network is owned by Major League Baseball, owned and operated by Major League Baseball, which means Rob Manfred has the final say in basically whatever content goes on the network. Most of it doesn't get up to him, but if you're an MLB Network personality and you go on there talking shit about Manfred, you should expect some repercussions. And there were some prior, which I didn't realize. Rosenthal didn't appear on MLB Network for 3 months, which I watch MLB Network every day. And they have so many rotating people in and out that he wasn't even officially suspended. He was just sort of like put in timeout. They were like, all right, we're gonna bump you for like one of your rotations or something.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I mean, I watch MLB Network religiously during the season, and I honestly didn't realize that he hadn't been on. I just figured, all right, it was just, okay, it's Jeff Bisson's turn, or it's John Morosi's turn, or whoever. Like, there's, like you said, there's like 17 guys that kind of all rotate. Kind of like the Yankees DH spot used to be.
Yeah. But essentially what he said was just, this guy isn't doing a good job. And the official quote was something along the lines of, a commissioner is supposed to be like, I'm trying to think of the exact quote because I thought it was very funny. Like stoic and, like all these great adjectives that you could use to describe like a David Stern, for example, like just this, sort of larger than life sort of guy. And he goes, and Rob Manfred is none of those.
He's not. He is not. Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but it was about how he handled the COVID issue in 2020.
Yeah.
And that the season, it was basically like a couple weeks into the whole thing where nobody knew what was going on. And the two sides were much like now, either not speaking or bickering in the media. And, Rosenthal came out and was just like, hey, shit, I get off the pot, pal. Like either figure this out and strike a deal or walk away and let everybody go on with their lives.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Apparently, the Clown Prince doesn't like it when people point out that he's not wearing any pants.
It's just the entire situation is ridiculous.
But you nailed it though. He's MLB owns that network, and when you go on and you basically rip your boss, even if it's in a different venue or a different outlet rather, like something's gonna happen. Some little twerp is going to run into Rob Manfred's office and go, excuse me, Mr. Manfred, did you see what Ken said? He was so mean. Rob Manfred, on his high chair will, look at it and say, well, that's it. He doesn't get any more TV time. No presents from Santa this year. Now, to be fair, his contract was up at the end of the year. So I don't know that he was fired.
He wasn't fired. He just wasn't brought back.
They didn't bother talking to him about a new deal.
Yeah, okay.
Just want to clarify.
Which never would have happened if this Manfred thing.
Ken Rosenthal's one of the 5 top personalities in baseball. He's one of the top 5 insiders. Like, you have people with the name of baseball reporter, like, he's going to be one of the first 3 that come to mind.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get rid of that guy.
Like, he is I don't love Jeff Passan. I think he's great. He's been sort of like getting a lot of the big scoops like the past year or so. Before that, Ken Rosenthal was the Woj of baseball. He knew before anybody else.
He was Woj before Woj.
Yeah, he would break the biggest stories before anyone else could. And so he just knows how to do that. And it was a great resource for MLB Network because I watch the entire day for the trade deadline. Like, that's my thing is I wake up at 8 a.m. and I just watch until the trade deadline passes. And then like an hour after the deadline passes, because new deals always come in late, like that they weren't sure about before. And he's always like on 2 phones at once, like texting someone on one. He's like, I got to go make a phone call. And then he comes back. He's like, yeah, Max Scherzer just got traded to the Dodgers. It's just, he's really good at it. And it pissed me off so much. I mean, this is exactly the type of thing that should not happen.
Especially when there's no other news going on in the sport. Like this would have just been like a blip at like the bottom of a newspaper column if this was a normal off season. But because it's not, like, this is now back page news.
Wasn't there something it buried? Actually, wasn't there some baseball story that came out later that day and no one cared because of the Rosenthal thing?
Probably.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember which day this came out.
Yeah, it was a few days ago.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was the 3rd, so that was Monday.
Yeah. I think there was something else that came out like late on Monday, and it just got buried. And it was something that was anti-Major League Baseball, like as a whole, the organization.
Manfred already has a PR issue. I don't think fans like him. He certainly doesn't have a personality.
No.
So, what are you thinking? That's what I would love to know. I would love to know, okay, even if you're pissed off, what are you thinking is going to happen when you do this with nothing else going on?
You think people are going to say good riddance?
Is there anyone in the commissioner's office with a functioning brain that could have walked up to him and said, listen, we know you're pissed, but, do you really want this to be the lead story for the next 2 weeks because you're not talking to Tony and nothing's going on? The fact that people are hiring coaches, no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Well, Mets fans give a shit.
Well, of course, they have reason to.
Because they've hired Wayne Kirby to be the first base coach, Joey Cora to be the third base coach, and Eric Chavez, who they sniped from the Yankees, who was going to be the Yankees' assistant hitting coach, and the Mets just said, we'll give you the head gig, and he'll be the Mets hitting coach.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I found the story that we couldn't think of.
Oh.
It was Topps selling out to Fanatics.
Yes, that was it. Which, I'm a huge baseball card collector. I just got a 58 Topps for Christmas. I got a 58 Mickey Mantle Topps card. It was it blew my mind. And I don't like this.
No, I don't like it at all. And I haven't been when I was a kid, I was a huge baseball card collector. I haven't collected cards in years.
Yeah.
Probably 20 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Which is older than you.
Yeah.
But it was Topps, it was Fleer, it was Donruss. Those were the three. And every once in a while you'd get a Bowman, and you'd be like, oh, that's cool. And then Upper Deck showed up, and then Score and Upper Deck were the last two, and those were cool because they were new. But at that point, I was already late 89, 90, I was pretty much checking out.
Which, the thing is that all those other brands are irrelevant now for baseball cards.
Oh yeah, and that's fine. But Topps was the mainstay.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is it's been Topps for 75 years. It's been Topps is the one. You had your, like you said, your Fleers, Upper Decks, Score, these companies that came on and started selling. Some of these are pretty valuable cards nowadays. I think it's the Fleer Griffey is the most valuable Griffey rookie card.
I had checked because I started looking through some of my old cards and I was like, do I have this? And I was like, oh no, I have 17 Danny Tarnable rookies, but no, I don't have that Griffey.
I've got so many Danny Tarnable rookies.
Oh yeah, look, if anyone wants a Danny Tarnable rookie, I think it's an 87 Topps. Those were cool cards if I remember. They had the wood background.
Yeah, that's 87 has the wood border.
Okay, so I've got 1,000 of them. So if anyone wants Danny Tarnable, if you're listening and you'd like a whole stack of your rookie cards, just drop me a DM. I will gladly send them out. No problem.
At Rick Wiener NY.
At Rick Wiener NY on Twitter. I'd tell you my Instagram, but I don't know it.
My only hope for this is there'll still be Topps cards. They won't be Fanatics cards. And I think that's what they're going to do because Fanatics had already gotten the rights to distribute baseball cards.
Right.
The rights had reverted from Topps. They were like, yeah, Topps, we're sorry, but in another great decision by Manfred. Loyalty means nothing. We know you've been doing this for over 75 years, but we're going to go with the big company now. I'm assuming that's what this means is Fanatics acquired Topps just so they could still put out Topps baseball cards, which if that's the case, I'm fine with it. But I'm not going to go to my local card shop and buy a pack of Fanatics.
No, absolutely not. Look, if that's what happens, I still don't like it because it's not Topps to me. Topps was Topps.
Mm.
like, and everything else, like, it was separate companies, and now you've just got this one conglomerate who's going to control everything. That's just always like, I don't like it with anything. Like, I hate the fact that the Athletic just sold out to the New York Times. Like, that's trash.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I will be honest. I canceled my subscription to the Athletic a few months ago. I got real tired of being told how to think. And I can get that for free when I turn on the TV. I don't need to pay a nominal fee to get that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised. But again, it's just, I'm a traditionalist. I think most baseball fans are traditionalists.
That's the thing with baseball fans.
You know, like,
yeah.
And I'm not
baseball
saying
fans
like,
hate change.
Can't evolve. No, absolutely change. Like DH in the NL, 1,000%. Been screaming it for 7 years. But yeah, these are not the changes that MLB needs to be making to grow the game and to sustain the life of the game.
I agree.
These are quick, put a Band-Aid on it and shove as much money in my pocket as you can kind of fixes.
Yeah. But anyway, where I was going before with these Mets coaching hires, I like all of these hires. Wayne Kirby was Buck's first base coach in Baltimore. He's well liked by just about everybody. I've heard great things about him. Joey Cora, I think, is interesting because, like, if you look at third base coach statistics, which is a thing now, it's basically like send percentage. He had it's interesting because he was the worst at sending runners and the worst at not sending runners. Like,
really?
Yeah, which is so when he should have sent a guy, he usually didn't, and when he shouldn't have sent a guy, he usually did.
Oh, wow. I would have thought that was Phil Nevin all the way.
Oh, Phil Nevin was up there, too. It was Joey Cora, Phil Nevin, and Ron Washington.
Oh, poor Ron Washington.
I love Wash. I think he's great. I love the fact that he embraced, like, the memes about him and stuff during the playoffs when he was just sending everybody and their sister.
He's like, whatever, come on. Everybody come on.
I think if the Braves didn't set a record for most runners thrown out at home during the course of a playoffs, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, they've got to be right up there if they if they don't own it outright.
So I think that's interesting, but Joey Cora is just a really good guy and players love him. So I think that's a great fit for their clubhouse specifically. You get because he's Puerto Rican, I believe. Yeah, him and Alex are Puerto Rican. And, Fitz, that's the type of guy that Lindor will look up to, that a lot of these guys will look up to and say, yeah, this is the type of guy I want on the team. Eric Chavez, I think he'll be a manager within 5 years. When he was playing, he always struck me as a guy who was going to be a manager. He's always gotten that reception around him, so I think he's a good guy to have in the clubhouse as well. I don't know what you think about these hires, but
no, I think you nailed it. The big thing that sticks out to me is the fact that these all seem to be Bucks hires.
Yes.
None of these seem to be like Jeremy Hefner, who, whether you think he's a good pitching coach or not, I happen to think he's okay. I don't think he's anything special. But, like the Mets said, okay, Buck, we'll hire you, but you have to keep this guy as your pitching coach. That's not what I want. You're going to hire a manager, let the manager pick his staff.
Yeah.
And if the Mets seem to be letting, like, all right, you got to keep Hefner, but everyone else you can fill however you want. And not only is Chavez a great hire, I think Chavez is Buck's successor.
Yeah.
So the Mets, unless things go terribly wrong or Chavez wakes up one morning, he's like, you know what? I forgot how much I hate New York. Like, there's no reason for him to, like, he could be a Met, part of the Mets organization for the next 15, 20 years.
Mm-hmm. I really like Eric Chavez. Like, if he isn't the next manager of the Mets, like, let's say Buck lasts 3 years and then he hangs him up because he's like, all right, I've had enough.
Well, yeah,
which wouldn't surprise me. But say 3 to 5 years from now when Buck hangs him up, if they're like, yep, we're giving it to this guy, I think it's the perfect choice. I think he's going to make a great manager.
And I wouldn't be shocked if Buck walked into Cohen's office, Uncle Steve's office, and was just like, listen, I'm done after the year. This guy's the one you want to hire.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bother interviewing anyone else. Just name him the next manager. You can do it now.
Well, there is one coaching position that they haven't hired yet, and that's the bench coach. And I believe it was the New York Post reported that the Mets are looking for a, quote, exciting headline-grabbing hire at bench coach.
It's not who the Mets fans want.
Well, there's a list. I've got a list, and some of these I think would be really solid hires. And some of these are just hilarious, and I wanted to bring them up.
Well, let's go. I haven't seen this list.
We'll start with the guys I think would actually be good hires. Terry Collins. I think he would fit in perfectly on Buck's staff. I think that would just be great for the Mets. Mets fans, a lot of them hate him, but just as many love him. It's a very strange dynamic.
There's really no reason to hate Terry Collins. Wasn't the problem with those teams.
No. Also, if he can just say my ass is in the jackpot like every week or so, I think that'll be great. Curtis Granderson, another guy I know will be a manager someday.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
And Mets fans love him. Some think the Mets overpaid him. He's just such a good guy. Curtis Granderson might be the nicest guy in sports. Like every time I see him,
he's one of them for sure.
Yeah, he just puts a smile on my face, and I'm a big fan of his. So I think that would be a great hire. Michael Young, former Rangers shortstop and second baseman.
Yeah, he's a heady guy. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah, is he in baseball anymore?
Yeah, he was. I want to say he was an assistant in the front office, like either a special advisor to John Daniels or like an assistant GM in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Like I think he was pursuing the front office route more than coaching route, I believe. Mm-hmm. I'm going off of memory here, and my memory is not what it used to be.
Yeah, he was hired as a special assistant to GM John Daniels.
Okay.
So he was in the Rangers front office. Yep. Oh boy, he played a key role in the offseason acquisition of Ian Desmond, apparently, who went to Texas and had a really solid year, and then Colorado gave him a boatload of money and he stunk.
Yep.
But yeah, so
I think any of those three would be great. I mean, if you had to rank those three, how would you rank them?
Well, I've got a couple more.
Oh, okay.
I've got 5 here. Willie Randolph.
No chance.
I don't think he has a chance. I do think he was given not a fair shake as
no. Willie got screwed, but I don't. That's the reason I don't think there's a chance because I don't think Willie wants anything to do with it.
Yeah, my only thing is like I think it would be a great hire. I think it would be a fantastic bench coach for this team. But I agree. I don't know if he wants anything to do with the Mets, but that was the Wilpons.
Yeah, but I'm not just the Mets. I don't think Willie wants anything to do with the game anymore. I think Willie's just done.
And the last one, which I also think has no shot, but boy, it would make me happy if it happened, is David Wright.
I didn't think of Wright.
That would make me so happy. Just to see him back in a Mets uniform, if the team was good and David Wright gets to be a part of a good Mets team again. I know he had the 2015 World Series, but he rotted away in the Mets organization for a long time before then.
No, he did. He did. Do you think his lack, and this goes for Granderson too, do you think that their lack of any coaching experience whatsoever works against them? Because typically a bench coach, you're looking for somebody who has been a manager.
Yeah, a veteran guy. I used to be like, oh, you can't hire this guy. He's got no experience. I've seen way too many guys get hired with zero experience that just turn out to be really good coaches and managers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm with you because these guys know the game as well as anyone. So.
I mean, yeah, Curtis Granderson and David Wright. And David Wright's interesting because he was never the outspoken leader. He was always a quiet guy.
Mm-hmm. He was very much like Jeter.
Yeah, very much like Jeter. if he gave you a quote, it was never exciting. It was just like, hey, David Wright said a thing again.
Yeah.
But just in terms of leading by example, that's the type of guy I want in the clubhouse. I mean, talk about the consummate professional. David Wright's always been one of my favorite players. I loved watching him play third base growing up. When I started playing third base in high school, he was the guy I watched. It was like, all right, I'm just going to watch a ton of David Wright, and that's how I'm going to learn how to play this position. And same with Granderson. Like, Granderson is rather outspoken, like, but in a good way. Like, not in a, he just says crazy shit all the time. Curtis Granderson was always good for a good quote. He was always a very vocal leader in a clubhouse. So,
and the thing about Granderson is that even when he was outspoken, he always had a positive spin to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if he was talking about like, yeah, we sucked, blah blah blah, but he always found a way to end it uplifting. Where even if he was going after someone, he wasn't it didn't feel like he was going after someone.
Yeah, so in terms of these 5 guys, I would probably say Terry Collins should be the number one option. Mm-hmm. If Terry Collins wants to be the bench coach, he should be. I would probably put Granderson too, just because I think he couldn't have a better role model for some of the younger guys. He was there recently. He's a fan favorite. Like, everything works in his favor. I'd probably put Michael Young 3. Okay. Just because I think he's got that, that attitude, that mindset to be a good bench coach, and I think he would make a really good manager someday as well. Then Wright 4, just because I don't know how much he wants to do it.
Right.
And Willie Randolph 5, because I agree with you, he probably wants absolutely nothing to do with it, but in terms of a hire, I think it would be a great hire.
Yeah, I have Terry at 1 for me too. I think 2 would be Willie.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't think there's a chance in hell that he would do it. But if he woke up and was like, you know what, I want to get back in, I think he'd be number 2. Then I'd probably go Grandy, Young, and Wright. And the only reason I put Wright at 5 is because I wonder if he'd be too much of a distraction.
That's fair. Say all you want about Francisco Lindor and Max Scherzer and all these guys, but David Wright's the biggest name in that clubhouse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like David Wright, it would be the David Wright show, and I don't know that the Mets or Buck want that in his first year.
Yeah, so he would be the biggest name in that clubhouse for sure. Now I've got some ones I just thought were hilarious. Robinson Cano.
Oh God.
Currently still employed by the Mets.
Yeah, currently the starting second baseman for the New York Mets.
I saw someone say, just cut him from or have him retire. It was like, have him retire so you don't have to pay him the $20 million, and then pay him the $20 million to be the bench coach anyway. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh God.
Mike Francesa.
Oh God, yes, let's go. Let's go. Mike Francesa, that's it. Mike Francesa should have been the manager.
I can't say I disagree. That would just be.
I would say Mike Francesa absolutely, only because I think it would take Buck all of about 45 seconds before he just turned around and punched him in the face.
Yep. Jerry Seinfeld, big Mets fan, loves the game. He's he really gets the locker room loose. He does some stand up for the guys after a big win.
So what's he gonna do? He's gonna sit in the. Can you imagine he's gonna get thrown out of a game as the bench coach because there's a bad call. What's the deal with this ump?
That was a strike.
And then you see Angel Hernandez waddle over. What'd you say? Funny man? Think it's funny now? Get out.
What'd you say, funny guy? Matthew Broderick, big Mets fan.
No.
Just talk about an absolute pushover. He'd go to suggest something to Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter says no. Broderick doesn't say a word for a week.
No, and then his wife comes in and yells at Buck for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I was a huge Matthew Broderick fan. Like, I mean, Ferris Bueller is one of the most iconic characters of all time.
Awesome
He's
movie.
gone downhill very quickly.
Listen, the Godzilla movie from the 90s ruined Matthew Broderick's career. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I forgot that movie was terrible.
It's awful, but I love Godzilla movies, so I watch it like twice a year just to laugh at it. I think it's god awful, but
my favorite movies are the worst
pleasures.
movies ever made.
Yeah.
Like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Killer Clowns from Outer Space are two of my favorite movies of all
classics.
time.
Absolute
They're
classics.
terrible. I mean, these are god-awful movies, but I will watch them. I don't care what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I will stop if they are on, and I will watch it from that point until the end. I can't do that with that Godzilla movie. I see it, and I just go, and like smash the remote to get off of it as quickly as possible.
It's also... I do genuinely like Jean Reno's character as like the French guy who wears the glasses, and when he needs to do an American like accent, he just does an Elvis impression. I think that's very funny.
Didn't Matthew Broderick ruin Inspector Gadget too? Was that him?
Oh yeah.
How do you fuck up Inspector Gadget?
Twice. Or no,
there were two of them?
He wasn't in the second one. The second one was French Stewart.
Oh my God, that's even worse.
Yeah.
That's like I couldn't afford Matthew Broderick, so I found this insane person in the alley.
So I got the guy from
looks like him.
I got this guy from Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, God, it's French Stewart. There's a name I never wanted to hear again.
Yep.
Thank you.
We've got two fictional characters.
Okay.
George Costanza, not Jason Alexander, but the character of George Costanza.
Jason Alexander. No, he's an actor. George is the baseball guy.
Yeah. So he can be the assistant to the traveling secretary and just teach the guy how to hit nukes because he's the best hitter of all time, according to that one episode of Seinfeld. And the Fonz. Once again, not Henry Winkler, specifically the Fonz. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Talk about fitting in New York. He's just walking around. He's going, hey, and just elbowing the vending machine to get a soda out of it.
Oh, yeah, he fits for sure. I like that. I like the Fonz, I think, the best out of that entire list.
My favorite is this one. It's Bobby Bonilla.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would be incredible.
They already pay him, so what the hell?
Exactly. You don't even need to give him a contract.
No.
He just shows up. He gets his $1 million on July 1st.
1.2 million.
Yeah.
I believe.
That's my favorite one.
That's
out of the legitimate candidates or the joke ones, Bobby Bonilla is my favorite. It's
I got one more.
Okay.
It'll never happen. But he's crazy enough that he could change his look every game.
I knew you were going to go there.
Bobby V.
God, I still have nightmares.
He could show up in the Bobby Bonilla mask on Bobby Bonilla Day. He could show up as Robinson Cano one day. Every once in a while he could pull out his Groucho Marx costume. I think he's done being mayor of whatever city he was mayor of.
Oh, he very much did not get elected.
Okay, I knew he was running at one point. That was the extent of my interest in Bobby Valentine's political career.
He did not get elected. And it's like his hometown, and he's the most famous person from that town. And they're like, no, this guy's an idiot.
His restaurant was pretty cool, though. He had a restaurant in Connecticut that was cool.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think it was called Bobby V's, actually. I went there when I worked for the Knicks. My boss took me up there.
Oh, nice.
We were on one of his quote-unquote road trips, which was basically my old boss was such a pimp. He, because I'm 22 at that point. He's like 35.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd just show up at places and flash his Knicks creds. And he'd get numbers and women.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, we're going scouting up at Bobby V's in Connecticut. I'm like, whatever, boss. I work for you. I kind of don't have a choice in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
And we went up, and he was like, just flash your, just pull out your Knicks stuff.
Oh, that's very funny.
And I was like, okay. And I think we had a good night, I think.
Who remembers?
Yeah, but I do remember that it was like a waterside like restaurant, and like it was a big outdoor thing. It was very cool. And the food was pretty good too. I think it was a seafood place.
I want to like Bobby Valentine.
I love Bobby Valentine. I think he's a terrible manager, but I love him.
I really wish I could like him, because I think the disguise thing is one of the funniest things that's ever happened in Major League Baseball. Just he gets tossed, he's like, watch this, and he throws on a fake mustache and a pair of sunglasses.
Yep, hold my beer. Be right back.
Hysterical. That's so funny. I can't get over the 2012 Red Sox. It just, whenever I think of him, it's just like the biggest dumpster fire of a team is what comes to mind. Just everyone hates each other. Everyone hates him. Everyone stunk. John Lester had like a 6 ERA that year.
John Lester's had like a 6 ERA every year since.
Hey, that's not true. He went to the A's and almost won a Cy Young.
True. He hasn't been good for a couple of years though.
It's been a couple of years, yeah, but he's like 40. But he ruined the Red Sox for you. If the Red Sox didn't win the World Series in 2013, I would have a picture on my wall of Bobby Valentine with like a knife stuck in his head. Like,
and now you know why I love Bobby Valentine.
But he is very funny, and I think that would be hilarious if he was the bench coach of the Mets.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I mean, it would never happen, but it'd be great.
I would love that. He just comes in disguise.
Yeah, just every day he's in a different mask, different costume.
Comes in as Matthew Broderick's character from Godzilla 1998.
Shows up wearing like a SpongeBob costume like one day. Just random things that like make no sense whatsoever.
What else? I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, we're totally off the rails here. I have no clue what else we were going to talk. Oh, I remember what we were going to talk about. Does knowing or having an inkling of the Hall of Fame results before they're announced ruin it for you?
Yeah, this is. I will say, and I said I'm not the world's biggest fan of Buster Olney. I think he falls into the category of baseball writers that hate baseball, because it just seems like he's always finding some way to shit on my favorite sport, and I'm not a fan of that.
Fair enough.
I see where he's coming from with this. I really do. I don't agree. I think I like looking at the tracker. I look at the tracker every day. Like whenever there's a new ballot out, I see where guys are at. I can see where he's coming from, because it does sort of spoil the surprise a little bit. But the tracker's never been set in stone. It's been wrong every single year. Like that.
Yeah, to a degree, it absolutely has been wrong. And like if you don't like it, why go after the person running the tracker and not the people that are telling him, hey, because truth be told, some writers legitimately send him their ballots before they post them.
Yeah.
Like, why not go talk to the writers and be like, hey, you guys are ruining it for the people. Stop giving out your ballot before the announcement. Or maybe the Hall of Fame needs to rethink things and go, gee, we're not going to wait till all the ballots are in. We're going to do a running tracker. As soon as we get a ballot.
That would be interesting.
Like do a real, like once a day, at the end of the day, like after you get the afternoon mail or whatever. I don't know how they do the ballots anymore.
It's still snail mail.
Okay, it is. I thought it was. Like I didn't know. Like, can you scan it and email it? Does it have to be original?
Like they still send it by mail.
Okay, so like every day or do it once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like every Friday afternoon, you set it. You make it an event. Friday afternoon, 3:30, Hall of Fame update. It's kind of like the way that they do the All-Star updates.
Yeah, see, I like the tracker because I think it's cool that a guy does it. That's
I
like
think it's awesome that a guy does
yeah.
it. And look, if I'm the Hall of Fame, I'm hiring Ryan to run it.
But my thing is, I don't think I would like that if it was official, because I think that does ruin the surprise. The thing with Ryan is he doesn't get all the ballots.
No, absolutely not. And I
And
guess
so,
okay, fine. So give the people voting the option. Do you
which
want the
they
ballot
do.
revealed or not?
Yeah, which they do have
But
that option right
so
now. Yeah.
just switch it up a little bit. Instead of do you want us to reveal it 2 weeks after the results are announced,
Hmm.
to do you want us to include it in the real time in the weekly tracker,
Yeah.
or do you want to wait until 2 weeks after the results are announced?
Yeah, I think it would be interesting for sure. But
I'll
the
tell you
thing about
something. It would be a better story for MLB during a lockout than our child commissioner
mhm.
is upset that somebody criticized him,
Oh, for
and
sure.
that'd be a better story for which
But
has been the lead story for what, a week,
yeah,
pretty much. Today's Thursday,
yeah, close
so
to it.
4 days. That's been the big story.
And
Is
yeah,
that
like I
Rob
still
Manfred's
people
jerk because
I,
Ken Rosenthal said mean things.
and like I expect it to be like one of those that night into the next morning things, and then it just sort of goes away. Oh no, I still see people tweeting about it today. Like it's people are still mad.
My timeline on Twitter today was, I'd say, 25% that,
Hmm.
25% Giants and Jets fans screaming about how terrible their lives are.
I entirely blame Paul for how many Jets fans I see on my timeline now. It is
I just,
it is upsetting how many Jets fans I see on my timeline.
it is upsetting how many times I see Paul on my timeline.
Paul, please don't fire us.
You can't fire me, Paul. You have
this
power over Mark. You have no power over me.
That's fair. Please don't
But,
fire me.
but
He
if
said it.
but if you fire him, I'll never come on the show again.
Also fair. But yeah, I see so many Jets fans. It's like, oh come on.
And then like Rosenthal has consistently been all week. It's been like
Hmm.
25-30% of the stuff on my timeline is people either arguing with other people or just spitting out their own stuff
Yeah,
about how idiotic this whole thing is.
but going back to why doesn't Buster say, "Hey, writers, stop revealing your ballots"? If I've learned anything about the Baseball Writers Association of America these past few years, is they will do nothing to criticize their counterparts. They think that they are in the tightest fraternity in the world.
Oh yeah.
And it's, listen, I understand, like, Tom Verducci got roasted for this, for the intro he did for the Hall of Fame announcement last year, talking about, like, how, it's how important it is and all that stuff. I tend to agree with some of what he was saying. Being a member of the BBWA is a big deal. And if I was ever a part of it, I would cherish my vote and I would do everything I could to protect my vote as well. But man, they will never say anything negative about another writer. It
No,
doesn't
no.
it doesn't matter what that writer did. It doesn't matter what that writer said. If you are in the BBWAA, no one else in that group will criticize you.
It's why you heard crickets when Jackass Johnny or whatever his name was submitted a blank ballot for like the 8th year in a row.
There's been so many blank ballots I've seen this year. I've seen like 10 of them, and it's highly upsetting.
Like I said, there was one that I knew was
Yeah.
blank, and I was okay with his reason because he said the only guy I was going to vote for was Schilling, and I'm going to respect his wishes. He doesn't
Hmm.
want to be on the ballot, so I'm not going to vote for him, and I'm just not going to vote for anyone.
I saw one that was just like, yeah, none of these guys are Hall of Famers.
And
And I
that's
was like,
fine. I respect that. I
I
don't agree
do,
with it, but I
yeah.
respect
I just think,
he's got an opinion, and he's got the guts to come out and say it.
yeah, I respect coming out to say your opinion. I also think you're a jackass.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're an idiot. I mean, because there's clearly 6 to 17 Hall of Famers on this ballot, depending
Hmm.
which one of us you ask. Bobby Abreu is not a Hall of Famer, but like the guys are
Jackass
just sending a
395
blank
career
ballot
MVS.
because they think it's like the cool thing to do, or
Hmm. No,
like
that's the thing.
Like, you're not cool. You're a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Give your vote to somebody who actually will put some effort into it and, like, make a real decision here.
It's the people that think there should be 15 people in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It should be Ruth, Aaron, Williams, Walter Johnson, Ty Cobb. Like, those are the people that submit blank ballots to, like, be cool. They're the ones that think, yeah, there's already too many people in the Hall of Fame, so we can't put more in. Well, guess what? We can't take people out, so we might as well keep putting more in.
Well, why can't you take people out?
I'd be fine with taking a few of them out.
Yeah, like, I mean, is there? I don't know. Like, is there a rule that says once you're in, and that's forever, and you can't be taken out?
I don't know, but I know they would never do it.
Oh no, I know they would never do it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. I mean, maybe somebody listening knows and can drop a line. But I
please do.
That would be very strange if there was a rule that said it's a forever thing. Once you're in, doesn't matter if you burn down a pet adoption center, an orphanage.
Yeah.
That's packed with little babies all wearing baseball jerseys and baseball onesies. Yeah, like it's the whole thing strange. I have no love for the BBWAA, namely because when I was with Bleacher Report, Bleacher Report told us all, like, hey, apply. And the association's response was, no, you guys aren't real writers, you're bloggers.
Which, it's so stupid. Bleacher Report is one of the highest,
like, huh?
Bleacher Report is one of the highest, like, reader numbers in sports media. It's
and so 2 years later, we had Scott Miller and Danny Nobler as our two lead guys.
Yeah.
And then it was like me and Zach Reimer and Joel Reuter and a few other guys. And I was like, wait, so you're telling Scott Miller and Danny Nobler that they're not writers?
Yeah. Scott Miller, one of the best in the business. That guy's awesome.
And like Danny's out of baseball now. He lives in Thailand, I think. He owns a bar nightclub.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's cool. He posts like videos from it every once in a while.
Because I've lost track of him because I used to read his stuff every once in a while. I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, him and his wife moved to like I said, I could be wrong, somewhere in the Pacific, in the South Pacific, and they run like a bar nightclub place, restaurant thing.
Oh, that's very cool.
Looks like a very chill spot. Looks like it's right on the beach. Like
that's the dream.
Yeah.
But I totally get why, like, someone in your position would be like, no, fuck the BBWAA. Those guys are assholes.
I'm a blogger. Fine. Well, you're a moron. So there we go. You don't like me and I don't like you.
It's just one of those things where I've always, like, since I was 8 years old and went to the Hall of Fame for the first time, I was like, if I could have a say in this, that would be the coolest thing I ever do.
Yeah, no, I kind of felt the same way.
I very much look at it through rose-colored glasses.
You know what? I guess I'll just have to settle for having voted for the Grammy Awards for a decade.
Hey, that's also very cool.
Oh, yeah, like, I can't vote for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay, well, I got to vote for the Grammys for 10, 15 years. I don't remember when my aunt started asking my sister and I, like, hey, you guys fill out these ones because you guys fill them out because I don't want to.
That's awesome too. I would be the worst type of, like, Grammy voter though.
Oh, we were terrible. My sister and I were vicious. We'd sit like in our rooms and just be like, all right, this band sucks. She's ugly. He's kind of a douchebag. That song's not great, but, like, he's not a douche. So, yeah, we'll vote for that guy. And, like, every once in a while, my aunt would be like, no, like, this category, I want this. This category, I want this, this. And she's like, the rest of it, you guys run with it. So, okay, I'll live with that.
Artist of the Year, Joe Bonamassa. Joe Bonamassa got
I voted for Joe Bonamassa. I know that for damn sure.
Yeah. Like, but that'd be the type of shit I vote for. It's like, Song of the Year, the new Walter Trout single.
Yeah, no, that I would. No, like it's like a ballot. Like, this isn't the nomination process.
Oh, okay.
This is finished ballot. These are your choices. Pick a winner.
Oh, okay.
So like that's what I'm talking about. Not like the people in a room saying, "Yeah, I think the Jerky Boys should get a Grammy for Song of the Year because that track where they just sit there and fart into a microphone
They
for
had to
2.5
have won a
minutes."
Grammys in the Grammy in the 90s.
They definitely had to win for like comedy album or
Yeah,
something.
there's no way the Jerky Boys didn't win a comedy Grammy.
But yeah, no, we were not. It was not the room process. This was the final process.
I'm looking this up. See if they have any Grammys.
No, they got canceled this year. Oh, the Jerky Boys.
Yeah, the Jerky Boys.
Oh, okay. Let me see. There was something else I wanted to talk about.
The Jerky Boys.
Yeah, so back to the Mets and Eric Chavez for a second.
Mm-hmm.
What are the Yankees going to do for their third hitting coach now that Chavez has jumped ship for an actual job?
Yeah. Was he their second assistant?
No, he was the third.
He was the third.
Yeah, he was actually no. Yeah, he's the second assistant, third hitting coach.
What the? Who else do they have?
So,
I don't
Dylan
even know.
Lawson will be the lead hitting coach. No clue who he is. Casey Dykes will be an assistant hitting coach. No idea who he is. And then Eric Chavez was going to be the next one. But like, I mean, how many fucking hitting coaches do you need? And I get it. Like everyone's of like one coach's approach may not jive with a player. So fine, you want to have a couple of you want to have two voices.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it, but fine. But three, like at this point, why don't you just tell the players, listen, hire your own hitting coach.
And a lot of them do.
Yeah, like Tom Brady's got his own trainer. Like
a lot of these guys do have their own guys that they go to. And like, I don't know, for that job, I got a buddy who's a big Yankee fan who hit 300 in high school. Like, dude, they can reach out to my buddy Pat, see if he wants it.
Yeah, like my dad taught me how to hit, so like I want my dad as my hitting coach.
Yeah,
like he knows my swing better than anyone.
I didn't realize that. I knew he was going to be the assistant. I know teams have like assistant hitting coordinators or whatever, but I didn't know they had three.
Yeah, it's going to be a three-headed monster. So like
none of them are going to be able to teach Gary Sanchez to hit a baseball.
No, because Gary Sanchez doesn't care about hitting a baseball. He doesn't care about stopping a baseball.
He doesn't care about playing baseball.
He doesn't care about baseball, period. He never has. He never will.
He's just like, wait, you're going to pay me millions of dollars to play this game I'm not very good at? Sign me up.
Yep. Just because I can kind of luck my way into 25 to 30 homers a year, which all come at Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, has he ever hit a home run outside of Yankee Stadium?
I'm sure he has. I'm going to look it up now.
Well, yeah, I know he has, but those numbers have to be staggering. It seems like he hits all of his home runs at home.
Yeah, I mean, he's so terrible. He's so bad. Why? Why do you give us Gary Sanchez? And our other big hope is Kyle Higashioka. Yeah,
at least he can play defense.
I like Hickey.
Yeah.
And Hickey's got some surprise pop in the bat.
Do you have Gary Sanchez's home run?
Oh yeah, I just hang on a second. I want to do a little bit of math real quick.
Okay.
Let's see. It's not even close. That yes, Yankee Stadium's where he's hit most of his home runs.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh God. Oh boy.
That's a reaction you never want to hear when looking at a professional athlete's statistics.
Okay.
Oh God.
Gary Sanchez has hit 138 home runs for his career.
Okay.
If you had to guess, what percentage? Let's say 140. Just round the number.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage do you think of those home runs came at Yankee Stadium?
68%.
I'm terrible at math, so that might be true. 74 of 138 came at Yankee Stadium. As a matter of fact, that's more at Yankee Stadium than at every other ballpark in baseball combined.
It's only 54%.
That's still ridiculous.
Hey,
he has one other ballpark that he's hit double-digit home runs in. Name the park.
Might be Fenway.
That's number 3 on the list.
Okay.
At 9.
Is it Camden Yards? Because every Yankee hits nukes at Camden Yards.
Camden Yards. As a matter of fact, outside of we're gonna do this here. 12, 21, 31. Of the 138 home runs, 105 have come in the American League East.
All right, now that's funny.
Yeah. 74 at Yankee Stadium, 10 at Camden, 9 at Fenway, 7 at the Trop, 5 at Rogers Center.
That's, man.
He's played 12 games at Citi Field, hit 1 home run.
That's not great.
No.
I want to see.
He is he's just so terrible. So terrible.
Oh, man, this number isn't as high as I thought it was. I looked up Gleyber Torres's home runs by ballpark because I want to see how many he had at Camden Yards.
Oh, it's got to be a bunch.
It's 8.
That's it? Well, they all came in that one series, so.
Yeah, he's got 8 in 26 games.
Yeah.
He's slugging .690 at Camden Yards.
Let's see, Gary is slugging .520 at the stadium.
What the hell? In 5 games in Texas, Gleyber Torres has 4 home runs.
Yeah, well,
and a double.
Because it's a different Texas, though, right? Because you have to figure which ballpark we're talking about. Because once they reconfigured things,
oh yeah,
it went from a bandbox to a pitcher's park.
That's the old one. 5 games at Texas Rangers ballpark at Arlington.
Yeah. So
the old one, he's got 4 home runs in 5 games, and the new one, he's only played there twice, and he has 0 home runs.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, so anyway, Gary Sanchez stinks. Gleyber Torres stinks.
Yeah, also not great.
Just they really gotta sit down and start talking, Mark. They really do, both sides. This is bullshit.
It's driving me crazy. Like I said, we're a month in, and yeah, they haven't even had a conversation from what I've heard.
No, they're not even talking about the little things that they said they were going to talk about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Did you see the report that it was like from someone in the Major League Baseball office that they were like, yeah, we want to sit down and talk about economics, but we don't want to talk about changing free agency.
Like,
what's the economics then? You want to talk about signing bonuses?
Yeah, like you don't want to change free. Like, we get it. You want to have as much control over a player as you can for as long as you can. Players want to be free agents earlier. Find a happy middle ground that you can both deal with. Act like adults.
It's just like, how can you say we want to talk about the economy of the sport and not talk about the biggest economic part of the sport? It's free agency. That's where all the money changes hands. And you're going to refuse to even put it on the table? You're not even going to have a discussion about it?
No, it's ridiculous. And on top of that, like, fans, there's going to be a point where fans are just like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care if this comes back or not. I hate to say it, I think we're getting closer to that than I'd like to acknowledge.
I'm really starting to doubt the season's going to start on time.
Oh, there's no way. Once New Year's hit and there was they still haven't spoken. There's 0 chance. Maybe spring training starts second week of March.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's when pitchers and catchers report, a month late.
Yeah,
at this point, there's no reason for anyone to be optimistic.
Yeah.
Because everything in this sport is leaked and there's nothing. And I find it very hard to believe that all of a sudden everyone's agreed to, all right, we're not going to report on anything. Like that's impossible. Like even today, somebody, I forget who, Mike Puma from the Post, he said, the Mets haven't made any of these coaching hires official yet
yeah,
because they're still doing, extensive background checks.
Which is good.
Which is great. And my response was, good for the Mets for making sure that everything is, they cross their T's and dot their I's and everything.
They haven't had the best luck with that in recent years.
No. Good for them, like being overly cautious. But how about you don't leak these things to people until your due diligence is done? Can you imagine? Think about this for a second. Can you imagine if it comes out in 2 weeks that Eric Chavez has some skeleton in his closet?
It's Carlos Beltran.
But imagine, but Carlos Beltran was in semi-normal times.
Yeah.
We live in bizarro world, Mark.
It's a lockout. There's a global pandemic. People just want baseball. It'll be a story for 3 months.
People are offended of everything.
Yeah.
Everything triggers everyone. You're wearing a Simpsons shirt. That's triggering me because I'm a Family Guy guy. There's some idiot out there who's going to watch this and be like, oh, I gotta smash my keyboard and write an angry tweet to Mark because that blue hair. Ooh, that's terrible. That's so bad. Like, can you imagine if it comes out that there's something about any of these guys?
It's going.
They're gonna get destroyed.
It's gonna be a shit show.
Destroyed. Steve Cohen's gonna have to go into hiding again for like the 3rd time since he bought the team.
And this one will actually be his fault.
Yeah, and this will legitimately be his fault. Like, you can't just blame the curmudgeonly old man and the running the show in the front office this time. This is on your watch there, Uncle Steve.
Yeah, it's. I really do pray, because as much as I love shitting on the Mets, and trust me, I get a lot of pleasure out of it. I don't even hate the Mets or anything. I just think they're a joke of an organization most of the time, and I think it's really funny.
Try being a New York Giants fan, and then you'll understand that the Mets are a well-oiled machine compared to a dumpster fire of an organization.
Another organization that I love to make jokes about.
Oh, I swear to God, if people could hear the conversations I have with my father every day, which include at least a 20-minute rant about the Giants and John Mara and Joe Judge.
I know this isn't big. He's got to be gone, right? There's no way Judge is back next year.
I wouldn't be shocked if he's back. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets an extension.
It's just everything he's said in the past couple weeks has been the wrong thing. He's said nothing but the wrong things.
John Mara doesn't care. He's made that clear.
Yeah.
All he cares about is money. That's it. He doesn't give a shit about the product on the field. That's why he hasn't had a real head coach since Tom Coughlin. And that wasn't his hire. That was Dad's hire.
Yeah. It really is a shame because, as an Eagles fan, I take much pleasure in beating the Giants. And we do that when the Giants are good too, so it doesn't matter. But football's better when the Giants are good. It just is. Yeah. It's one of those. Basketball's better when the Knicks, Lakers, and Celtics are good. Football's better when the Giants are good.
Yeah, baseball's better when the Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers, Cubs are good.
Yeah. It's when these historic franchises are good, it makes the sport better. The Giants being the butt of everyone's jokes. There are more jokes about the Giants than there are the Jets now.
The Jets, I got hope for the Jets.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Salah fan when he came in, but he's grown on me. LaFleur's grown on me. Wilson has grown on me. Like, they have some pieces on that team. Like the Giants are they're going backwards very quickly.
The Giants, they're lucky. They're so lucky that the Jaguars exist. Because if they didn't, the Giants would be the laughing stock of the NFL.
No, I disagree. I wish the Jaguars were good. Giants need all the help they can get. They need as many number 1 picks so Dave Gettleman can draft a punter first overall.
A punter out of Syracuse.
No. Syracuse is too mainstream. He would with the first overall pick, Dave Gettleman takes the one-footed punter out of Uzbekistan.
Yeah, he has to hop up to the ball.
He only has 1 foot, so he has to hop up and then fall on his ass as he kicks the ball. But he has no idea where it's going, and most of the time, because he has to fall on his ass, it goes backwards.
It goes straight up.
Yeah.
It's another 4-yard punt.
Yep, and that's negative 17 yards on this guy's punt. Oh, look, Saquon Barkley, he just ran backwards too. Yay.
If you are a one-legged American football punter, we apologize.
No, if you're a one-legged American football punter, please send me a DM. I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I want to know your process. I want to know the story.
Please come on the show to discuss.
Like we will interview you. I know we don't seem professional. We are.
Yes.
Mark is a radio host. I have hosted that show. I have interviewed legitimate athletes. Like, we can be serious. We can make this professional for you. But yeah, if you're a one-legged punter,
this is just our fun side game.
This is our fun. There's like 7 people that are going to watch this, and
we actually, anyway. I was just going to say, we had a couple people interact with us.
No. It's people are starting to pay attention.
Yep, big things on the horizon for.
No, look, this is not a race. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yep.
I hate cliches, but I'm throwing that one out there.
It's so true. Did we cover everything? I think we covered everything.
I mean, there's so much going on.
Let's see, lockout. Oh, congrats to Cameron Maben on a very solid career.
Yes, Cameron Maben.
That was
seemed like a good dude. I never met him or never heard anyone really complain about him. Look, anytime you can last 15 years in the big leagues, you did something right.
That amazed me. If you told me 2 weeks ago that Cameron Maben had been in the league longer than Kyle Seager, I would have said you were an idiot.
I would have said you were an idiot too. Absolutely. Because I thought Kyle Seager had been around a lot longer than he had been. Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I was like, what the? In 15 years? And, hey, solid ball player. Like you said, everyone said he was a great teammate, very well-respected guy, all that stuff. Also part of the Miguel Cabrera trade.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was a big part of that trade.
Yeah, because he came up with the Tigers, and it was him and Andrew Miller and a few other people went to Miami for Miguel Cabrera.
For Cabrera and the D-Train.
Yeah, and Dontrell Willis, that's right. Which, boy, oh boy, you wonder why the Marlins have only had 2 playoff appearances in their entire – or 3 now.
Well, to be fair, they also had the worst owner in the history of sports.
Yeah.
Who would build it up, win, and then blow the entire thing up.
Yeah, I saw a guy I follow on Twitter is a big Marlins fan. He reports on the Marlins and stuff, and he put together the all-time Marlins team. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, how does this team not have 8 World Series rings?
Yeah, I mean, he had, I believe, he had Miggy, Gary Sheffield, Josh Beckett, and
Dontrell
Willis and Juan Pierre all on the same team.
Yeah, and Jeff Conine, and there's another really solid player.
Yeah, but right there, you have 3 legitimate superstars.
Yeah,
2 all-stars at their peaks, which they were at that point.
Oh, Pudge.
Oh yeah,
Pudge Rodriguez was the catcher
not just a Hall of Fame catcher.
Yeah,
to go along with it, and even if it wasn't Pudge, even if you told me it was Charles Johnson,
really solid player,
one of the best defensive catches you've ever seen. That team should have been a dynasty, and somehow what's his name? Jeffrey Luria, was that it?
Yeah, Luria.
Yeah, he just found a way to fuck it all up.
It's just and then you look at at one time they had Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, and Ye Who Shall Not Be Named.
That's right. That outfield was the outfield should have been amazing. Although, to be fair, Yelich was not figuring it out in Miami. He wasn't until he was a good hitter, but he wasn't Yelich until he got to Milwaukee.
He wasn't MVP Yelich, but he was 295, 10 home runs, steal you 20 bags.
Yeah, he was
really
good.
Solid.
Yeah, he was a very good player, but he wasn't, and like you said, he was not an MVP. He was not superstar Yelich.
And the other guy who got suspended by Major League Baseball for domestic violence that he committed in front of a Major League Baseball person. But
look, nobody ever said these guys are smart.
He already served the suspension because he was on the commissioner's list last year, and they said, that's good enough. He won't serve a day of an actual suspension. That pissed me off so much.
God help any team that signs him.
They won't. I think he's done. I don't think
he needs to be done.
Yeah. I mean, we've already seen it, like Addison Russell out of baseball. That guy stunk anyway, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I never understood what happened to Addison Russell. Like, I don't know if it was because he had all these other issues, but I thought he was going to be a beast.
Oh, I thought the complete opposite. I remember when him and Baez, because they came up at like the same time, and Cubs fans were like, Addison Russell's the future. I was like, look at that guy. I was like, look at this Baez guy. He is so much better. It's the most right I've ever been. I was like, I never saw it with Addison Russell. I didn't like his swing. His throwing arm was like strong but not strong at the same time. Like he would routinely like just bounce the first baseman, and not in the way that Lindor bounces it on purpose. He just wouldn't get it there. He was just a weird player, and he also wasn't that fast. People said he was fast, and they came up and got thrown out stealing a bunch of times. He was the Henry Owens of the Cubs. Like, I remember when Henry Owens was coming up, everyone was like, this guy's the next great ace of the Red Sox. And the scouting report said he topped out at like 98 miles an hour, and I never saw that man throw a ball over 90. Like,
yeah, I never understood that. I never understood the Henry Owens hype. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I saw him pitch a lot in AAA too, because I wanted to go out and see him, and I was like, this guy stinks. What the hell are people talking about? But anyway, we did cover everything. So that'll do it for episode, I believe, 5. I should have looked at it.
We're going with 5.
We're going with 5.
Whether it is or not, this is episode 5.
And if the one before this is episode 5, this is episode 5.1. Since they're coming out on back-to-back days. Why not?
Forget no. We're not doing fractions and decimals. That's episode 5, part 1. And if that was episode 5, then this is episode 5, part 2.
Yes.
2-part episode if we were wrong. If we're not, then this is episode 5.
Yes. So thank you, everybody, for listening. For my buddy here, Rick Weiner, my name is Mark Rollins. We will see y'all next week. Peace out.